I mean, I guess. I mean, like, you get to at least catch your breath instead of just. I mean, I would have grinded on through and been fine. But anyway, what's going on? What's new? What do we got going? Yeah.
Thank you. How'd you get those crumble cookies in?
Thank you for the cookies.
Yeah. I'm pretty big time. You didn't get you got to get on the plane.
Did you get the cinnamon one with the
Like the s'mores thing? No, I did. I'm a chocolate chip person. I'm all chocolate chip, but that looked ridiculous. It looked ridiculous. Like, I mean, obviously not a lot of calories in it because there was cream. Like it was pretty wild. That's what happens when you win. You get good things happen to you when you win. Huh? It's amazing. You win games, good things happen. All right. Obviously, another bye week coming off. That was a great win, great team win for our guys. A lot of things we still have to clean up. A lot of things we have to get corrected. Another bye week opportunity to do it. But when you look at those things, much easier to correct coming off a win. I mean, our guys are excited. They're juiced. They do some of the hard things, which is have that mental toughness. To not pointing fingers at other people, just to buckle down to do their job and continue to play hard. We don't have that issue right now. So the key for us is going to be continuing to coach, clean up our execution, our technique, our fundamentals better as we move forward. And then it's unique how this schedule sets up to me. Like the season, I don't like this can come off of downplaying. I'm not downplaying the games that we've played. Our season starts next Monday, right? I mean, now you're into the 8 straight conference games in a 9-week period. Hopefully we get a 10th week for a change, that opportunity. But the whole complete focus right now is getting into conference games moving forward. And it's great that we're coming off of it with a lot of positive ways of winning football games. But what we can control is the opportunity to compete for a conference championship, and that starts getting into game week next Monday. So that's a huge deal for us and a little bit of focus. Again, with this bye week, we're going to clean up some things. We're going to look ahead, prepare for the conference schedule, and get us ready for that. That's a big stretch afterwards. It's kind of been a unique week 0, 2 byes, a unique beginning of the season. That's a little bit more traditional 3-game bye week, 5-game stretch. I don't know if I gave you anything you want, but you guys can ask questions.
Coach, in the game against Miami of Ohio, 9 consecutive third-down conversions.
Yeah.
And a lot goes into that. Some of them were long yardage. How do you get the team to prepare for that and to be in sync to know where the line to gain is?
Well, I mean, the situational football, we spend a bunch of time on situational football, do a bunch during the week in preparation for what that is, but it also gets down to execution. And, not all of them are clean. Some of them we had to, create plays. You had there's a scramble on there. There's a short yardage physical run. There's a long yardage run. There's a pass and run after the catch, and then there's a completed past the first down yardage. I mean, all of the above. So I think it's the guys with their focus and understanding situational football that we're in, game planning, what to expect to see from the defense, and then going out and executing it clean. At key moments of the game, I mean, third down is a big part of the game for us offensively to stay on the field. And, because it gives you, think of this, a lot of your explosive plays are first down plays, right? So every time you convert a third down, it gives you an opportunity to have another first down explosive.
I know I saw you reeled off 87 plays, and that's probably more to your liking, although a lot of those plays you were coming from behind. But when you went tempo in the game, did you feel like you were wearing down Miami of Ohio?
I don't know if we were. I think it's just natural. I wouldn't feel like like it was a time where they were just like gasped or I thought the key was it is our offensive rhythm. I think we were able to stay in rhythm most of the day. I think we had the 1 3 and out at the end of the half. Obviously, the turnovers weren't good. But that end of the half was really the 3 and out. The other drives that hurt us, there was a penalty involved that kind of got us behind the chains. We got out of rhythm that way, and you can't do that. But when we stayed in rhythm, I thought we were rolling. And then you look at the style of team they are. They're a bend but don't break team. They keep a lot of things in front of them, and they did that most of the game. And the key when you're going to do that is execute in patience. They're going to sit there and say, oh, we'll give a little bit. If you make a mistake, now we got you. And by our ability to execute and on first, second down, and then on third down when we needed to, allowed us to stay in that rhythm really most of the day. When I give our guys credit for that consistent performance to get those 87 plays in.
Coach, Amars Brown, 4 interceptions now in the season. Just a lot of them have come in big-time moments, too. What does that do for the momentum shift of the game?
Well, it's obviously huge. He's a guy, he's playing a lot of plays for us, a lot of opportunities, but he's a good leader of our defense. And you just see he's, as a football player, I like great football players. He's got a good nose for the ball and instinct to be in the right place at the right time. His pick 6 last weekend, falling off, seeing a third down, being in coverage, seeing a ball floated down the middle and the ability to come off his man, step in front and intercept the pass. Really good. And, and I think, you look at this a lot of times. A guy, this is first year in the defensive system. But that comfort when we saw him, his ability to play that nickel spot. He's got the safety physicality, played a lot of corner at South Florida. So, it's kind of that perfect hybrid mix guy to play that spot, and he's been opportunistic to make those plays.
Getting ready for Wyoming. They're on a bye this week, too. You talk about your excitement for Mountain West play, just what you've seen from the conference so far. I know New Mexico knocked off UCLA. What have you seen in the Mountain West?
Well, a lot. I think you look at where the conference is. Obviously, it's a unique deal. Like Wyoming, there's no new film coming. Same both ways. So we're both coming off a bye. So you kind of have that time to prep. Watching some of them, obviously very, very good defensive team. They don't give up many points at all. I know they gave up some to Colorado, but it was a close game early, or for a while, and then you watch them shutting down Utah for the entire first half into late in the third quarter. Didn't give up many points prior to that. Very big physical offensive line, can run the ball. Their quarterback does, because if you can run the ball, he does a great job protecting and his taking opportunities down the field off protection. So going to be a tough challenge. And I think, the league right now, when you look, I think a lot of people maybe jump to conclusions within the league early with the Boise loss to South Florida. But, we did it. It's hard to go 3 time zones away and win football games. I didn't realize that was our first win in the Eastern time zone in history. And it's not easy. But, you look, though, the wins over, UCLA, San Diego State, huge win over Cal. Right? Not even a close win. Of that, you look at the top teams on the West Coast, probably half of the top 10 West Coast teams are Mountain West Conference teams, if not more. And, so, it does say a lot about how deep and competitive this conference is top to bottom. And so it's going to be a big challenge for us the rest of the way. You got to, I think when you start looking at it, the league's it's not top heavy. It's not, it's deep with talented teams. You got to bring your A game every week.
Wanted to also mention the crumble cookies, just celebrating 4-0.
You got to have some fun on it, right?
People have mentioned how happy you look here in Vegas, and your excitement to be 4-0. Can you tell the community just how happy you are right now?
Well, you know what? I'm having fun. I love this team. They're fun to be around. We got a great coaching staff. I'm really, really enjoying it. The mindset, the attitude. And then we got to have fun. It is... Our guys enable us to have fun, right? I went into the staff today. I mean, the crumble cookies were great. Like after a win, you got to make sure we reward them. We have victory meal tonight and celebrate. One of the great things that I went to the staff today, I said, I mean, what an unbelievable situation we're in. We're not having to go in and sit there and address motivational issues. We're not having to go in and adjust attitude issues. Okay? We get to go coach ball. We got to go now. I mean, we got to get a lot better at that right now, right? Making sure, I mean, we're covering up. We're in the right gaps, blocking the right things, not oversetting different protections, making the right reads of the quarterback, right reads of the running back, blocking the right people. Route depths at the right area, fitting the gaps, staying square on blocks on the defensive side of the ball, making sure we're folding and fitting the right way and slanting or angling the right way on the defensive line. All ball stuff. Love that. We're so fortunate, and that's a lot of fun. I mean, it's so fun to go coach football and to go teach out there on the field because we're not having to, I couldn't be prouder of a group of guys but we had every opportunity to implode last weekend. And when you're down 14 points 3 different times in a game, on the road, 3 time zones away at 9:30 in the morning, right? And it could have just been with a whole new team, right? Of what do they call us? Like last chance you, right? Like of guys, there's so many different chances that implode and be like, That's your, and you know what? We didn't. Guys worried about doing their job. Guys worried about getting better, right? Even when I look in guys' faces and you talk to them, they're not pouty. They're not, you know what I mean? And even when they are, I'm like, what do you, stop. Okay, if you don't want to play, I won't put you back in. Until you smile, I'm not putting you on the field. Little things like that. And they're like, gotcha, coach. And they want to go play ball. That's a lot of fun. It's fun to coach when it's that way, Not that we're not going to, we've already faced adversities. We're going to face more adversities throughout the year. But if we can keep that attitude, it makes it a lot of fun to coach. That let's worry about getting better as football players and not have to deal with all the other distractions.
I know we've been talking a lot about AB, but Marcel McDuffie, his growth, the communication with him on the field, what have you seen from McDuffie?
Well, I think, we expect him to be a leader of the defense. And, if you know Marcel and get it, I'm getting to know him still, right? I mean, rah-rah leader is not going to be his specialty, right? You got Chief and AB, and you have the other guys that are going to be, right? You have everybody does get their point. Right? There's some of the guys that are making sure everybody gets lined up, and other guys making sure everybody's fired up. Marcel's one of those guys that fits, but you just see, it's amazing when you talk about guys that go hard every single play. Good things happen to guys that go hard every single play, and you look at the last 4 defensive plays in the game. He had a fumble recovery and an interception, and hey, on the ball was there. And you can freeze frame it, and there's, I think, 4 Miami of Ohio guys and 2 UNLV guys. And, great things happen to guys that run to the ball and are where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there, and play with great effort. And he's one of those guys. And all of a sudden, it's not ball luckily bounced into his hands. You know what? Well, I'm bounced into hands of guys that play really hard, and he's one of those guys and is a great leader of our defense. And I think that the meld of the team is understanding different leaderships, right? You get into the secondary, Jaheim Joseph is going to communicate into hey, get here, line you up. Marcel the same way. And then there's other guys that are going to be hooting and hollering. And there's some guy, there's a good mix of guys that they understand their role and they accept it and take it on.
Coach, when you look back at these 4 games, are there any specific areas that you want to see improvement in prior to conference play?
Lots. I just think, as we go back, we're reviewing things. I think a lot of it, coaching areas, making sure we're asking our guys to do things they can do, making sure we're communicating really well on both offense and defense, who's in the game, what we're doing, where we're trying to attack, making sure we not just teach, install, don't do too much, don't do too little, but really make sure the guys got it and understand, because it's the first time a lot of them are doing it. A lot of times you think, okay, hey, we got it. Yeah, maybe we do, maybe we don't. Like it looked good in practice. So it's just, make sure we really get an understanding of it. And then the same with the players on the field is that complete commitment to preparation within games, right? Of the not doing it until I get it right. The doing it until you can't do it wrong type of deal. And, and you look because there is so much new to guys, right? It's not, no one's in their fourth year in the system. Where, like, hey, they got it for sure. Like, hey, I've done this thousands of times. They haven't. So I think just a lot of those, every little detail within fundamentals, we got to keep grinding on our guys, because when we say when we're good, and when we're bad, we're bad. It's not complicated. Like when we execute, we got some pretty good players that do a really good job. When we give up big plays a lot, defensively, half of them are the offensive guys making great plays. And don't get me wrong, I watch offensive guys. We've seen guys make great plays down the field. We've seen some guys make some guys miss in a big run. I've also just seen us go the wrong way. And they just take off running down the field, right? Or, hey, when, all of a sudden, like, boy, that play, defensive guys make great plays against our offense. I've also seen us just go the wrong way, and so, like, we never had a chance on the play. So I think it is that consistency of our execution of doing the little things right. I want to just in every way. But that's the fun part. That's the coaching part. That's we get to go in there and say, hey guys, we're not very good right now, but we're doing the hard things, right? The things we got to improve on are playing football and executing and doing the football part of it. That's the fun, easy part, and we got to get better at that. The hard part is to not drop your head when you all of a sudden down 14, you come back and tie a game, and by the time if you were at, where was it? Like you're at Parkway Tavern and you went and ordered a beer and went to the bathroom, and by the time you got back or down 14 again, you're like, holy cow, what just happened? That's easy to drop your head, right? We don't have that problem, so that's good. That's hard to fix that.
What do you expect? Your expectations? I know you have a week off, but going into Laramie, you've talked about Wyoming, the football team. But what about there? You've probably never.
I've been there.
Have you? Have you been there? Okay. Well,
okay. Last time I was there, 2004, late November. Top 5 Utah team. We roll in, ABC National Game of the Week, and bang, the lights go out. Okay. ABC pulled us off the air. I think they put on, what is it when the Raiders, they put on, what's the movie? They put on Heidi or something because they had to pull our game. Right? So that's serious. I know I remember this, we went for our team walk in the morning. We get up and go for a walk. I think the guys looked, Urban was Myers head coach, and the guys are looking like, because we're walking around that building back, and it was like a team sprint because it must have been 30 below zero. No, it's obviously going to be a tough place to play. They're one of the top attendance teams in the league. I think they get a great crowd. It's at altitude, but we're not there long enough to get adjusted, so we just go play. It's not like it's indoors where you don't have to worry about altitude. It is outdoors, but I don't think that'll be a big problem. We practice in the heat, dry heat all the time, so that'll get us ready. So it's obviously it's a tough environment. They get a good home field advantage. They get a good crowd, and I'm just happy that it's not late November. Not saying it's going to be warm there. I haven't looked at the forecast yet, but
it's 2 weeks. The weather guys don't know
Yeah, who knows? Like the weather changes here. I try to plan things at like 3 days in advance, and that's like, nope, totally changed. So, no, I think it'll be a good challenge for us. Obviously, I think they're a very good football team. From what I've seen so far, I haven't done the deep dive into everything. But I think when you get into this league, I think one of the unique things, coaching in a league, I mean, they're coming in with their seasons in front of them. They got the opportunity to go play for the Mountain West Championship. You have a lot of teams in this league that expect to compete for the title. You're not there's a lot of leagues where teams are like, hey, if we can get to 6 wins and get to a bowl game or 7 wins, we're going to have a good season. You have a league where I think the majority of the teams in this league expect to compete for the conference championship. And that shows how competitive the league is, top to bottom. And obviously, I can guarantee you Wyoming's one of those teams that think they have a championship caliber team this year, and this will be a big game.
Have you heard from anybody in the coaching fraternity, old friends of yours, after the Saturday win and the drama involved in that called you up and said, Dan, how the hell did you escape that? How did you get out of that? How did you survive that?
I got a lot of congratulatory texts, like great win and all that stuff. You talk to, I won't get into any specifics. You'll talk to different coaches, but a lot of the coaches that are calling, you'll get the congrats on the win, but more share ideas. Hey, what are you doing? Did you do anything different? How did you, what in the course of the game, was there anything happen you needed to see? But you'll get more people sharing ideas on stuff like that but you'll get the quick congrats. You kept it exciting, right? Why'd you squib kick? Like some of that stuff, right? Like, I watched a guy run back 100 yards already once. I didn't want to give him another chance at it.
This is kind of a fun one. Going back to the cookies,
All of them are fun.
around the team. Just what was kind of the favorite flavor amongst the team that you?
Well, we only got 2 flavors. I think we did like a s'mores and a chocolate chip. I'm a chocolate chip person on that. But I think it's something different. I do think in the college football world and everything that goes on, and you look at these guys, most of them are still we got a little bit older, right? But I mean even. The majority of our team's 18 to 22-year-olds. You know what I mean? We just won a game. We want to celebrate. I thought that was a really cool thing to do, to have that. Maybe it'll be a good tradition. If we win, there's crumbled cookies on the plane on the way home. If you don't, no cookie for you. Right? Huh?
There we go. Shout out Crumble.
I don't know. We'll see. I got to post it out. Maybe they'll donate a box or 2 of them. They're not the cheapest cookies in the world, but they are really good.
Cookie Monsters, sorry. Cookie Monster on the team.
I don't know.
I don't know, but you know what? I mean, there were some guys that they were hoarding some right in there. In some of those, like I did my. I did my 1 chocolate chip, and there were some extras. I was very disciplined. They're really good.
They're really good.
I mean, you're gonna make a chocolate chip cookie. Don't chintz. Put a lot of good chocolate in the chocolate chip cookie. The s'mores one I stayed away from because it had
It's like a mountain of frosting.
I mean, it was a full meal. The other one.
Just want to ask about Ramon, special teams player of the week. Just his growth and his consistency right now.
Well, it's great because, obviously coming in there, the competition in training camp, and he won it with consistency during training camp. And I give him a lot of credit because, started off the season, looking shaky. And, he hasn't since, right? I'm rough on those guys sometimes. What I think after he hit the long one, was that against UCLA and he came off, I said, hey, just forget about all those. Don't listen to any of those bad things I've said about you. But, you got to kind of treat those guys. They are emotional group on the team, right? We got to keep them in check. But I think he's done such a good job now of being steady. And I think you see the confidence. Like you saw it with the confidence he had in training camp. and then got into a game, and I think he's kind of flipped that script. I mean, that was the game-winning kick. Not easy. You know, I was trying to get the ball a little bit more to the center. We were trying to figure out how we wanted to play it. And, you know, we kind of on the first down, we ran it outside too far. We were trying to keep it more center in the ball. So that's like a tough angle. But you know what I love? If you watch that kick, he didn't aim it. He just went, I mean, he smacked it. And, I mean, it was what you get nervous of. You know, if you're nervous, you're going to try to guide it through. He didn't. He lined up and smacked that thing right down and split the upright. So it just shows where his confidence is. And I think now with stuff like that, the confidence the team has in him really helps, and it's grown a lot.
Win that game with Utah against Wyoming?
Yeah. It was. I remember also, like, I'm signaling on the sidelines or something. One, like they were like, hey, maybe we'll cancel the game and come back a couple weeks later. Like, lights came halfway on. Urban's, I'm like, we can throw and catch in this. We'll figure it out. They had half the stadium lit at one point. I'm like, well, that's fine. That's enough. Let's just play. I think Alex at one point was looking and we're signaling plays, and he's like, struggling sometimes with some of your hand signals. I said, well, you better figure it out because I'm not taking these gloves off. And it's like 20 below zero. I said, if you can't figure it out, call whatever play you want or something. I don't know.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about what did they do with their cadence to draw you offside into the neutral zone 4 times? Were they
some of it was some of it discipline. Obviously, the punt one on the punt team, that's inexcusable. That was like, you know, you saw the head bob and all of that stuff. You know, when you go practice it, you know, after the first one of the game, sometimes the discipline, that should never happen. But, you know, I mean, you're kind of amped up. You're ready first play of the game. But the other ones, I mean, we just sat there and said they're just sitting there clapping 30. Like, I mean, they were like. I don't know if they were trying to slow the game down and, like, snap it with 1 second to, like, kind of limit our opportunities or not, you know, and try to really, like, kind of limit the game. But, you know, I mean, like the one series, the silliest one was, right, they clapped jump off sides. That, like, they clapped like 4 times and jumped off sides, and then we jumped off sides, and then they jumped off sides. It was kind of like, you know, yeah. I mean, it was like that was an interesting deal back and forth. But you know, that's honestly, like, we talk about some of our penalties. I thought we did a good job cleaning up some of the other ones. But those are the frustrating ones to me. Those are we can control. Like I talked about, the effort ones, the aggressive plays, but the procedural ones are that's we control that. That's coaching. So we got to make sure we're doing a better job of situationally and the mental focus of our guys of doing those things, right? And but every game when it gets into penalties, all you want is I said this in the game. You want consistency to the officials within the game. Our game against UCLA, they called it tight. There were a lot of penalties on both teams. Okay, well, you got to adjust to that. This one, they didn't call. That was very well. Both games were very well officiated in that the consistency of the game, and then you kind of play to that consistency of the game. You know, and now procedural penalties you can't control. But if you take away the procedural penalties in that game, there weren't many penalties in that game, right? There were a couple false starts, a couple offsides, like one holding call or something. There's the late hits out of bounds you can't control. Like, you know what I'm saying? But those are the effort plays. But that's something for us. The procedural ones drive me crazy. Like, I know we were upset with the effort ones before. You got to coach them up. You're gonna give and take with those. The procedural ones, though, that's coaching. We got to clean that up.
Any more cookie questions? Thank you.
Thank y'all. You did the s'mores? Oh, were you out? I mean, the s'mores one must have.
I'm gonna say a hot take about the crumble chocolate chip.